One thing I always try and do when I watch anime in a season is try and watch the episodes in the order they air. However, some anime which I try and watch as soon as they air because I'm so much anticipating them. And I got one of those this episode as well. See if you can spot it. I'll give you a hint, it's not the sequel. But are there any episodes of anime which you're anticipating this season? Or what about oncoming seasons? Any anime which you want to watch then? Let me know in the comments. And let me know if there's any episodes of anime which I've skipped this season which you think I should look back at. And I'll tell you probably why I've skipped them. And join me, because this is the 2022 Spring Anime Preview, from a different perspective. First up today we have RPG Real Estate, an anime about cute girls doing real estate things. Yeah, this is a new anime from our favourite studio Doga Kobo, who always seem to produce a fun, cute anime. And RPG Real Estate is no difference to that. Our main character this time is the mage Kitone, who moves to a big city on the 15th anniversary of the kingdom becoming saved and all demon kings being defeated. There's now peace, there's no fights to be had, and so she decides to move to the city and get herself a job. Of course, she moves to the city, has no idea where to live, and so goes to a real estate company to try and find herself a new place to live. And she's shown loads of possible places to live, a tree house, a normal room, and lots of different places. All come with their own downsides, because she only wants a cheap place. The tree house is great, but there are monsters in the tree which she has to kill, and she's also so high up, it takes forever to get there, and if she falls out the window, she's dead. The normal townhouse is fine, but it comes with a proviso. You cannot lock your door, adventurers can enter at any time, and take anything they find in your drawers. You know, like they do in Skyrim. It's all comedy stuff, light, fun stuff which makes sense to people who play games and watch anime of this sort of premise. Fun to see it actually realised in an animated story like this, thinking, okay, it must suck to live in that house if you need to make sure anything on your drawers are fair game to villagers. In the end, she ends up living in a apartment complex for monsters. She's not a monster herself, she's just a mage. But one of the other workers at the real estate company lives there as well. A little dragon girl called Far. And they get on quite nice. You see, the job she's got in this town is actually at the real estate company she visits. After she's told them that she's found a house, she then says, actually yes, I'm also a new member of staff here. And so we meet our real estate company members. Of course, we already met Kitone and Far. We've also got Rakira, who is a former warrior. She's very much the Rize of a group if you watched Is the Order of Rabbit. And you got Rafira, who is, I think she's a manager of a branch. She's a former priest, former healer, and she has delusions of grandeur. She wants to be the next big thing. She wants to find a role in a castle or a big place and become famous and rich. Much to Rakira's annoyance, because Rakira just wants to have time spending with a childhood friend. See, we're still childhood friends, and there's nothing romantic going on between them at all. Not at all. Oh, sorry. They're not supposed to sleep on the same bed or anything like that. And this just seems to be an anime about these 4 girls finding houses for RPG tropes. I mean, one of the first characters they find a house for, other than Kitone, is a great sage, who, even though she's rich and famous, she doesn't want a big, rich and famous house. She just wants a place she can settle down in. A place with nice flowers, which, thanks to Kitone's suggestion, they find her. And there's probably going to be little stories here, little other characters will pop in, character comedy between them, the usual Doga Kobo, cute girls doing cute things, just with RPG tropes. And that suits me down to the ground. I like RPG tropes, I like cuteness. It's going to be a nice chill way to relax, and you can find it airing over at Crunchyroll. Welcome back to a world of revising the Shield Hero, this time for Season 2. And as ever, I'm looking back at an anime which I watched the first season of and I quite enjoyed. But of course, if you watch some of the first season and you didn't enjoy it, you can probably just skip to the end of this preview bit, because you know you're not going to want to watch this one. Likewise, if you really enjoyed the first season of A Shield Hero, then carry on watching Season 2, because you know you're going to watch it. But if you didn't watch it, or you're not sure about it, keep on watching this and I'll tell you what I think. Well, we're back with our main character Naofumi, who is a guy from our world, transported to another world, and created as the shield hero. Now, the shield hero historically was looked down upon, the weakest of the four heroes, weaker than the sword hero, the bow hero, or the spear hero. But of course that was all a ruse, but the shield hero was useless. Can't remember exactly why, but as such is looked down upon by everybody else, and he had it harder. But because of that, he became a much different character from the others, not relying on his hero name, relying on his skills, and relying on his friends, because he does make friends. He's got Raftalia, who is his sword girl. Since he's a shield hero, he can only use shields, he can't equip any other kind of weaponry. So there's no way of attacking. Well, he does, but that's another thing entirely. Raftalia is a little slave girl which he rescued, contracted in Season 1. And she's grown to like him, romantically. And even though she was released from his bondage at the end of the first series, she basically said, yeah, I was released, but I still want to be a slave. And so she takes on the slave seal again, and is still bonded to him. We've also got Philo, effectively a chocobo, who fights and is super powerful and is the heir to the big knowledge and pride. Effectively is the heir to all of the race. But she's a cute girl with angel wings who really wants to help Naofumi, and he just really loves pulling his cart. And I'm not talking about that as a euphemism. And also this season we've got another main character in our bunch. A main party we've now got Risha, who was a mage formerly in service of the bow hero. Still heavily in love with him, but because she was so useless, he kicked her a curb. He abandoned her. Now Fumi took her in and is helping to train her up. In his first episode, she basically agrees that in order to become stronger, in order to become more useful, she also wants to go into bondage with him. She wants to be his slave. That's a very strange thing to do, saying, I'm so desperate to be stronger, I will become stronger through slavery. But this anime looks like it's going to be aiming at a different thing. See, the first one was more about protecting the world from invaders from another world. This one is more about fighting a ginormous turtle. I don't know exactly what the premise of Shield Hero 2 is yet. We'll get to it later, I'm sure. But I'm just interested in seeing Naofumi, Raftalia, Philo, and Risha, of course, all together fighting stuff. If you want to watch Shield Hero Season 2, you can find it airing over at Crunchyroll. Next up, we have Deaimon, Recipe for Happiness. An anime about a guy who leaves his home to be a comedian, musician, I'm not sure exactly what he is. But he's not very funny or musically talented because he has no fans. Who returns home upon receiving a message that his father's been hospitalised. Now his father actually runs a traditional Japanese sweet shop. And he thinks, okay, I'm not making it in comedy, I'm going to return home, help family shop, and eventually someday become his successor. That's not how it works. Since he gets back home, finds his father's perfectly fine. He was hospitalised with hemorrhoids. But when he gets back home, he finds out that he's actually got another person he's training up to be a successor. He's not going to be the successor to the shop. It's a young girl by the name of Itsuka, who is headstrong, wants to take on all responsibility herself, is clearly good at making the sweets, but doesn't want to accept, she's childish in fact, she doesn't want to accept help from anyone. And our main character, Nagumo, he is light-hearted, but it's kind of useless as well. It's going to be almost like a family drama. I call it a return home type series. Return home to a countryside, where our main character returns home to a countryside to live a quiet life, whilst rediscovering his family, his childhood ambitions, his childhood friends. And into this new girl who, whilst they are at gunpoint right now, they're clearly going to get to like each other. I don't think it's going to be a romantic relationship, it's more going to be a familial one, as he's basically old enough to be her father, and she basically mistakes him for her father without realising it in the first episode. But it's definitely going to be a nice soothing anime, a nice friendly anime, but one which feels like it's just going to stab you in the back the moment you get to see it. This one's definitely going to leave you emotional at some point, I'm sure. But that's the type of anime which I like to watch. Not anime which is going to make me cry, but it's anime which is more emotional, more friendly, just more interesting to watch. Less action, more emotions. If you want to watch Deaimon, you can find it airing over at Crunchyroll. And finally today, we have Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. Or I would say that if it wasn't. Instead, we've got Miss Sachichu and the little baby ghost. We've got a main character who is not Kobayashi. In fact, she is Fushihara. Again, we only know her as Fushihara, we don't know her name. And she's working late at her job. She works a basic dull office job, doing business work all day, being given way too much work by a boss, and having to work loads of overtime to get it done. Yes, it's one of those companies. And when she's trying to do her work one evening, this creepy voice suddenly happens and says, "Leave. Leave. Leave now." When she tries to find out what's going on, if someone's trying to play a prank on her, she finds a little baby ghost, a little girl, behind the copier, saying, "Please leave, you're going to die if you don't leave." And so enamoured by the adorableness that it basically becomes a task of this little girl trying to tell this office worker to leave. The office worker doesn't want to leave because she's got to do her job, and the soothingness the young cute character has on this office lady. Now, I keep calling it Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, and there's a lot in common with it. It's a monster girl, in this case a ghost girl rather than a dragon, befriending a rather straight-faced, cynical office lady, Fushihara or Kobayashi, and becoming friends. Although this one is less about getting romantically interested in the friend, as I'm pretty sure everybody agrees that Dragon Maid is that. It's about being cute with cute girls doing ghostly things to the office workers. There's some other ghost girls who appear to be in the opening. I see a cat girl, I see a demon girl. I'm seeing some other, but they're all basically tiny little things which are not threatening at all. Now, when I was watching Shachiku, it felt like it could go too far in one direction. The studio who's making this has got previous when it comes to anime with cute characters, being not quite as wholesome as you would hope. I mean, one which immediately jumps to mind is Angel's 3-piece, which, whilst it sounds cute, cute girls doing cute idol things, it goes beyond cute and into creepy. So far watching episode 1 of Shachiku, it didn't feel that way to me, but I could see it going beyond my line at some point, so I'm kind of worried. From what I've seen so far, I'm going to recommend it. But the moment you think it might start going bad, drop it, because if this one starts going bad, it's going to go very bad. If you want to watch this, you can find it airing over at Crunchyroll. And so that's been RPG Real Estate, Rising of the Shield Hero Season 2, a Deaimon Recipe for Happiness, and Miss Shachiku and a Little Baby Ghost. 4 very nice episodes of anime which I thoroughly enjoyed. What do you think? Let me know in the comments and join me next time when I've got 4 more new shows. Probably not quite as good as these ones, but they should be good. Until then, bye bye.